This week on the Austin Healey channel, the exhaust goes on, the seats go in, and I learned the difference between a BN1 dashboard and a BN2 dashboard the hard way. So this BN1 came with 3 dashboards, and none of them are right. But I thought I'd pull them out and we look at them. These two are obviously out of a later model. Maybe 106. There's a lot of parts that come off 106. This one is homemade. It's made from, it looks like plywood. It could be wrong, but I thought we'd clean it up and have a look at it. And I've only seen it all dusty, and I'm kind of curious what's it like underneath all that. So just some soap and water. This one at least has the right shape to it. There's a bunch of extra holes here, so maybe it was used for racing. But this curve here is correct for the 100. It's interesting. I still can't tell if it's plywood. Looks like it. Just veneered plywood. It's amazing how dirty stuff gets just sitting around. I'm just playing, but this might be some of the history of the car. I don't know if this was ever mounted or not, but someone spent some time doing this. It has a whole lot of extra buttons or holes for switches. Probably more switches here. I don't know, maybe it was a James Bond car and they had ejector seats, missiles, oil spray. Yeah, we're not going to use that. I'm just playing. We are going to scavenge some parts from this one. I'm going to scavenge the key. I'm going to take one of these switches use it for the overdrive. Unless I bought one, I can't remember. I'll have to check. And the starter button. Oh, and the flasher here. So first thing we need to do is pull those things off. I just noticed this, they don't have a oil gauge in here. That's funny. This might not be the right switch for this, but we're going to start out with it. So there's one little switch I forgot. It's this one down here. It's the dash light switch right there. I'm going to take it off and clean it up. It's pretty rusted on there. I think then I'm going to grind the head off of these bolts, and then once it's off I can get at it easier. There we go. Hope it still works. It's pretty nasty. It's going to take some cleaning. These instrument light switches are kind of funny. These lights, the lights on them are not very bright at all. So I don't know who would, you know, shut them off at night or at all. It's funny. And yet there's a switch for it. No seatbelts in the car, but there's a switch for this. Okay, that's come out. Good. I think spray some oil on it. Let that get in there. I don't know if the switch is going to work or not, but you know, we'll do everything we can. It has a little dot on it, so I guess it's on. I'm afraid I'm going to have to tear it open to get it working. But for now, you know, we have it off. That's the important part. Okay, let's move on to the next step. I don't know if you can see it, but there are tiny little marks where each component should be centered. I'm glad that those are there because I didn't want to have to try to figure them out. So we're going to go through and drill those holes, trying to get them the right shape and everything, like these. We're not going to do them all at once because that would be crazy. I think that's about as close as I can get. Next, we have the starter button right here. Move on to these next two. I know this might seem silly, instead of just drilling the right hole to drill a hole and then sneak up on it with a file, but to me it's safer this way. Maybe that's just a mental thing. This one has the flat spot on the side, so I have to watch out for that. this didn't have the handle on it, or it didn't have holes punched for it. So we have to kind of find where it goes. Thinking right around there. I'm going to keep the holes parallel to this line. And if I remember right, this doesn't have the escutcheon, the thing underneath it, just the wood on the back. Voila! I think that looks pretty good. Next, we need to work on the switch. If I can't get it working, I'm gonna have to get a different switch, and I don't want to drill holes and stuff until I know what I'm drilling them for. So, I think we have to tear it apart. It's still stuck. Oh, hey, it moved. Hey, check that out. Nice. Patience. It's moving, that's fantastic. Let's test it. So I'm slowly getting the gauges in place. Each one, the hole's been too small, so I've had to adjust it. The oil gauge, water gauge is particularly difficult because it has the thermostat, the thermos wire thingy on it. So I'm using an old housing I have from a Sprite. It's the same size. Just going bit by bit to get it to fit. I thought we'd have a look at the exhaust system. I've ordered a stainless steel set because it's going to last longer. The combustion engine, one of the byproducts besides CO2 and all that, is water. So the water goes through the pipes. If you just have steel, it's going to start rusting immediately from the inside out. And also, these cars sit really low on the ground, and any scrape you get on the muffler or the silencer is going to result in rust. Originally, these were all painted black, and I'm going to say it again. The concourse manual is suggesting that you get a stainless steel one, sandblast it to give it a tooth on the edge, on the outside, and then paint it black, and that will, with a high temp paint, and that will keep it looking original. I know that the original muffler was a little different style, but that's okay. But if all the pipes and stuff are black, like the original, then that would be really good. Stainless steel turns funny colors when you put heat to it, and like a stainless steel barbecue grill, it's actually going to start rusting. Just because it's stainless steel doesn't mean it can't rust. When it gets hot, there's something that happens that causes it to start to rust. So we're going to paint it a high temp black after we sandblast it. Sorry for the long speech. With the tailpipe, if we get sand in it, it's not a big deal because, you know, it's a pipe. You're going to turn it over and it'll fall out. With the silencer though, it's going to be much better if we keep the sand from getting in there. So a little bit of tape is going to be our friend. Thought I'd show you what's going on down here. I got this one in place, and down here I've had to drill 2 holes for this. They put a metric fastener on here, so I had to dig out the metrics. I have this in place, and then I'm going to put this on and hold it up in the back with the jack. There now. The jack's very handy for this because, you know, it's infinitely adjustable. We got everything. Right now we're putting everything on just like finger tight to hold everything into position. And then we'll go back later and tighten everything up once everything's connected. This went together, this joint here I remember on the season 1 was super tight, really hard to get together. This one really smooth, it was very nice. So it makes it easier. I'm all about making it easier. All right, let's grab the tailpipe. See if we can get it going where it's going. Fully install the exhaust, we have to put in this, well, these 3 holes are for the seat rail. And because of its location directly above the muffler, it has to go in before the muffler can. So let's go up top and I'll show you how to do that. So to mount the seat rails, there's a lot going on. You have these funny nuts that come up from the bottom with a washer. Then you have this funny backing plate. Then you have this funny packing strip, and finally the rail itself. After I put the seat in place, I was able to complete putting the exhaust system on. going to take care of a little detail simply because I found it in the box. So this goes on, the sticker goes on this, the brake fluid reservoir. So we're going to put that on now. There's always like 1,000 little details to do. So I've read that this goes all the way up against the top like that, and actually the brace covers up the top where it says Girling, which is very funny because, you know, they put it on there for marketing reasons, and then it gets covered up. We're going to put the seam at the back and the sticker all the way at the top. I'm not sure if you're aware, but I post some progress pictures on social media, Facebook, Instagram, my website, just to, you know, for the people who want a preview of what's coming. I posted a picture of the dashboard in place because it was a big step that hadn't had a dashboard since I bought it. And this morning I got a comment from Simon Griffin saying, this switch and this switch are reversed. And I went, okay, I gotta get to the shop before I think about this. So I got into the shop, I looked at the service manual, and I looked at the images I have of the BN1 at the Healey Museum. And they're in this location. So I wrote back to him and said, hey, you know, this and this and this. And he wrote back saying, check the date on your service manual, and sent me some other examples of BN1s with them switched. Sure enough, my service manual, which is a reproduction, is from December 1955. And if you look really close on the gear shift knob, there's a 4-speed. So that means it's a BN2. I guess in BN2s they've switched these. The reason they would have switched them would be to have this switch closer to the gear shift, so you can switch. So you don't have to move your arm as far to switch into overdrive. Very fascinating stuff. So what's the deal with the Healey Museum car? Well, I've been looking at the images, and I don't think this is the right switch. I think this is a later model switch. But the Healey Museum, they had a series of switches up here, and the knob part it's like a stick with a ball on it. It's small, but there's a bunch of those. And this had been switched. This also has a stick with a ball on it. So I'm wondering if those switches and this were switched, those switches were installed and this switch traded places at the same time. So what am I going to do? I'm going to switch the switches, which means I'm going to have to weld up this plug because it's going to be a lot bigger than this one. But that's not that big of a deal. I just need to crank up the welder. You can get to practice some aluminum welding again. So I wanted to thank Simon for first of all for noticing, and second of all for sending me the information, which was running contrary to my research. So it's very funny. And I'm glad that, you know, he noticed it now before I got into paint and stuff. Alright, we have it stripped down again. Taking the switch and I've marked its location. It seemed to me if I put it exactly in the center, it gets really close to the bezel of these two. So I've shifted it a bit. I shifted it down a bit. I think the best way to proceed here is with a file. Oh, it's easier to make a hole bigger than make it smaller. Next step is to patch this up. Sorry, the camera's off for most of that, but as you can see, it came out pretty good. It's been a while since I've aluminum welded. Nice to get back into that. I have the switch out of season 1. It was used for the lights, I think, so it's old. I don't know if it's exactly the right period, but it needs cleaned up a bit, but it's the right size. It does fit over there. So I'll put this on here. And drill the hole. So I need to connect this right here over to this right here. So when we put our foot down, it goes vroom. The way I'm going to do that, I'm going to push it up to where the gas pedal's all in the down position. So it's as though my foot's all the way on the floor. Then when I raise this up so it's all the way full throttle, now I'll be able to take a measurement between the two ball joints, and I'll have the length of the rod I need. There we go. So with this in full throttle, it's 22, plus we're gonna need a bit on each side for the threads to go in. I bought this rod. It's 25 centimeters, which should give us just enough on each side, 1.5 centimeters for adjustment, which would be perfect.
If you want to come along on the ride as we complete this project, click the subscribe button. If you want YouTube to tell you every time there's a new video, click the alarm bell. Thanks for watching, and your support is very much appreciated.